thought your essay was interesting. A spell check might be nice on these essays. Love those extracurriculars. You're not in yet, but no, things are looking pretty good. So you don't want to go to college?
Jesse Fisher?
Professor Peter Hoberg?
I know Ohio is not as glamorous as New York, but they're throwing me a retirement dinner thing.
When is it?
Weekend of the 25th. You know, check your schedule.
Checking now. Looks like I'd have to shift some things around. I'll be there.
Eryn, here's all I gotta say to you. You have a tendency, and I don't know how you do it. Like, I thought I was good at finding movies. You find the most random, like, independent indie movies that no one else has heard of.
I'm good at scoping this stuff out. I mean, I don't know why, but randomly on my sick days, whenever I'm spending at home, I'm just like, okay, what do I want to watch on demand? And I just find the indie movies.
Yeah, everyone, you know, if you start complaining about Eryn's audio in this, cut her some slack. She's been finding a cold for the last couple days.
I'm finally getting my voice back, so give me some credit, please.
Exactly. And the day she gets her voice back, I get a message. Can we do a review of a movie called Liberal Arts? Watch it now!
Okay, well, yes, I really wanted to do a review on it because it was one of those random finds that I found through my on-demand menu, and I was just like, oh, liberal arts, awesome. And, of course, the two main actors that it has listed are one of my favorites, and the other one I've been dying to see in a movie, and I haven't seen her in a movie until now. Whenever the two names Josh Radnor and Elizabeth Olsen appear on a screen, I will gladly watch that movie in a heartbeat.
Right. So I'm going to let you control this review because, you know, we both saw it. Unfortunately, I had to go in and out of it because I have a big test tomorrow, so I think you paid a little more attention to it than I did, but I still know it well enough to give it an honest opinion.
Oh, you liberal arts college kid.
Oh, I know. This movie spoke so much to me because it showed me how much it's not like my college, because this one makes the college actually look fun.
Oh, shut up. Oh, my God. Okay. Basically...
So, yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie, plot-wise?
I was just getting to that, and then you interrupted me.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Basically, what On Demand told me from the description, it said that it was a love story with a 35-year-old guidance counselor who was played by Josh Radnor, who fell in love with 19-year-old drama major Elizabeth Olsen. And going into this, I was just like, okay, indie flick, awesome. Indie flick love story, even more awesome. I like where this is going. I like the description so far. But that was not what it was about at all. Like,
no.
I thought it was something more beyond a love story. Like, it was something even more tangible than that. Like,
no.
I thought it was definitely a coming-of-age story.
Yeah, ultimately, this really is it's a middle-aged coming-of-age story. It's more about coming of age for kind of like a midlife crisis, in a way.
Yeah. Like, I definitely got that feel for it. Basically, it centers in on two characters. It centers in on Jesse Fisher, who's played by Josh Radnor once again.
Yep.
And his college professor, who taught at Kenyon College, University. I think it's college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually have a couple friends that go there. I just always forget the end of it. Oops. Sorry for any Kenyon students that are watching this. Basically, his professor is retiring, and he was one of Jesse's favorite students, and he's retiring, and he says, I would like you to come up for a retirement weekend. They're throwing me a fancy dinner, so I was wondering if you could come up, spread a little love, you know, support me on my last year of teaching. So he goes up, and he meets with his old professor, and he also meets with the head of the English department and his family. And the head of the English department's daughter is played by Elizabeth Olsen, who is also a student at Kenyon College.
Yep.
And she clicks with Jesse right away. Her character is also named Elizabeth, so it won't be that challenging to go back and look.
Mindfuck.
What?
Mindfuck.
Exactly. No, actually, she's not called Elizabeth in this movie. She's called Zibby.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. I've never heard that rendition of the name Elizabeth, and when they were like, that's Zibby, I'm like, Xenon? Is that like the child of Xenon? What the fuck?
No, seriously, if my first name were actually my middle name is Elizabeth, I would actually like to be called Zibby. That is really unique. I like it.
Alright, I'll start calling you Zibby.
No, but I like Eryn with Y better.
Okay, I know you do, Miss Irish.
Eryn McCabe, you can't get more Irish than that.
No, you cannot. That really...
You can't.
That's not the point. I'll let you talk...
Anyways, let me go on.
Yeah.
So, Jessie and Zibby start connecting a little bit more. She goes on to explain how into improv she is and her theory on life. She says that all of life is based around improv, because improv, you do everything on a whim. That's the exact same with life.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you there.
I thought that was a really cool revelation.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you there story-wise, just because I think if you go any farther, you are going to go a little bit in the spoiler territory. But
I wasn't trying to.
Yeah, I know, but let's leave a little of the imagination. What I really want to hear more from you is what you liked about the movie, because with independent films, you get one of two things with independent films. You either get a really heartfelt human story, or you get something completely crazy. And this is more of those human heartfelt stories.
I thought it was. Wow, I paused there for a little too long. I thought it was definitely one of those heartfelt dramedies.
Yes.
They definitely knew where to put the humor in the story, but they also knew how to make it a tearjerker at the same time.
I think the key for me is that they didn't go too far into the drama. What a lot of these independent films tend to do is just go a little too melodramatic and get a little too far into it, where it kind of loses that line of that makes dramedies work. That line of comedy and drama. And this one kind of teeters it throughout the whole movie and does a great job balancing it. I don't think they went too far to the left or the right.
You know what this movie kind of reminded me of? Like, about halfway through the film, I would say that Liberal Arts definitely reminded me of another wonderful indie film that might be one of my favorite movies of all time, 500 Days of Summer.
Really?
I definitely got that feel from it, yes.
I can't say the same, but I do want to hear this argument. You might persuade me on this.
There might be a couple spoilers.
So try to do it without spoilers. Just talk about, like, what ideas are at play that remind you of it.
Okay, Jesse definitely reminded me a lot of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. He was a very mellow, down-to-earth kind of guy.
I do agree with that.
Yes. I don't really know how else to explain the personality. It's kind of got some physical features also looking similar as well. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Zibby reminded me so much of Zooey Deschanel's character in 500 Days of Summer. She was very fun, carefree. Her definition of love was definitely different.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that.
More traditional, in a sense.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And that's weird that you mentioned that, because I'm actually surprised how much I love that movie that parallel didn't click in my head.
I'm surprised that didn't come up for you, because I remember when you first saw it, 500 Days of Summer, you were the one getting me on board with the indie films. If I remember correctly.
That's very true. I was the one that told you, religiously to go watch that.
Yep. And to this day, it still remains one of my favorite movies of all time.
I think the reason that parallel didn't click for me is that ultimately I thought 500 Days of Summer was a much darker film than this was.
This film was dark to a sense.
Yeah.
But they were very light on the message. They weren't as heavy on the message as 500 Days of Summer was.
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole mentality. I think that's why I didn't make the connection. But I think one of the keys that I really like about it is that it doesn't go too far. I think if it would have gone too far, it probably would have gotten a little heavy-handed and crossed that line.
That's what I was worried about, because of all the indie movies that I've seen, I feel like a lot of them tend to go over the top with their special effects. It just seems like everything becomes over the top.
Yes.
And this movie didn't do that, which I was really happy about, because
I agree.
It was a very straightforward message.
I agree. There's a moment in the film where you do feel like it's going to happen, where you're just like, oh, fuck, here we go. Don't do it. And for once, when you're watching a movie like this, he doesn't do it. And you're like, oh, well, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where this goes.
I think one of the things that really caught me off guard, spoiler alert for any High School Musical fans still out there, Zac Efron popped out of
the
nowhere.
Fucking hipster stoner.
Damn, it's Zac Efron! Like, I was just like, who would have thought he would be in a movie like this? And his character was so... like, he was out of the box. But
people, let me explain what Zac Efron is. For those of you people who love Disney and think Zac Efron's a clean, nice-shaven guy, not after this movie. He's a fucking stoner hipster in this.
I loved it. It was something that I wasn't used to seeing Zac Efron playing. It's like, everybody's always used to Zac Efron playing, like, Troy the popular kid, or another popular kid in this movie, and he's 17 again, and, like, he's always in these popular roles. It blew me out of the water that he was playing a hipster, and a very down-to-earth guy, very into, like, the environmental movement and everything. And the thing that caught me off guard the most was he was the one that delivered the message in this film.
Yeah.
If you can think back to it. Like,
I mean, you have to understand, people. When I was watching this, I was like, oh, that guy who's playing the hipster, he's a good actor. I wonder who he is. It must be some nobody.
I told you he was a good actor.
I texted Eryn, I was like, who's the guy who's the hipster? And she's like, that's Zac Efron. I was like, you're full of shit. And as the credits roll and you see Zac Efron, I was like...
Zac Efron, at first, whenever I saw him in High School Musical, I was just like, he's just going to be a stereotypical Disney kid. Like, they're just going to stay in the Disney realm. That's the only role that they're ever going to know. He's going to be a one-trick pony. Like, I just started getting that aspect.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
He started getting more movie roles, and I was just like, okay, he's starting to impress me a little bit more. Like, he can do more than just Disney. He is such a fantastic actor. Like, he's definitely, like, aged over the years, and really progressed as an actor. He definitely put himself out there. Like, I haven't heard him sing in a while, but I think he should just keep acting. It's what he's good at. I
would agree with that statement after seeing this movie. I think this is the first movie that I've seen him in that I think... I wouldn't want to go as far as to say he'll pull Leonardo DiCaprio and fully become, like, an amazing actor, but he's on the right path. Like...
starting to get there.
He's starting to get there. I mean, I can name off a bunch of movies since High School Musical that he's been absolutely shit in, but...
and if you ask me, I don't like any attractive guys unless they can act.
Well, I mean...
Oh.
If you look at the last couple years and what he's done, what was that movie where he had, like, he could see his, like, younger dead brother or something like that, that piece of shit?
Charlie St. Cloud.
Yeah. Which from what I saw in the trailers and clips, that looked abysmal.
I didn't see it.
That looked absolutely abysmal. And, you know, I'll go on the record. I know you guys give me a lot of crap for this, but I hate the Lorax, and I thought he was one of the worst parts in it, but don't you give me that look.
Okay, whatever.
We've already gone over why I don't like that movie, but... that's not the point. I think you're right. This is the first movie where he actually came out and showed he does have a lot of skill. He played a character really against his type.
Yeah, like, that takes a lot for me to say something like that, too, because...
oh, no, it does for me, too, because I absolutely hated the guy till this movie, and now I actually think he's kind of okay.
Yeah, I despised the kid whenever I was in high school and middle school. Like, everyone's just like, Zac Efron, and I'm like, oh, High School Musical, oh, God, ew. But...
you hate his girlfriend, too.
What?
You hated his former girlfriend, too.
Shut up, I still do. Yeah, like, it just definitely blew me out of the water. And it was a very small part, but at the same time, he delivered it spectacularly.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the key aspects that I think made this movie even more fantastic than I thought it already was, the scenery
Oh, yeah.
Those shots of Kenyon were beautiful. Like whenever I ask my friends about Kenyon, I'm just like, so what's it like up there? Like, how is it? Everyone's, like, from what everybody's told me, they're just like, oh, it's a field. It's in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like,
that campus looks gorgeous.
After seeing this movie, I'm just like, this is so glorious. Like, I was blown away by how amazing these shots were.
Yeah, and that goes, the credit once again goes to Josh Randor, who's actually the director and writer of this, too.
Did it right.
I'm sorry, Miss How I Met Your Mother fan, but...
That Mosby for life. I love him.
Yeah, you told me it was a Mosby, and I thought Mosby from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, so I was really confused.
No. Whenever Mosby comes to mind, you should automatically think How I Met Your Mother. Do not think Disney, or I will lose respect for you.
Alright. Fair enough. But, I think it's time to talk about a little bit what I didn't like about this movie, and I don't know if you felt the same way. There's some parts of the movie where it is really slow, and I kind of found myself fading in and out with it.
Yeah, I will admit there are slow parts, but then again, if you think about it, what movie has a very continuous flow nowadays? Like, I mean, it seems like a lot of the great movies have the slow parts, but
right, and that's something.
I feel like the slow parts are for you to personally think about everything that you have watched, like what you've taken in so far, so you're not overwhelmed. That's the way I see it.
Wow, that's actually a very optimistic look on slow parts. I've never thought of it like that. I guess
student right here.
Exactly. I guess ultimately this has my flaw of independent movies, where those slow parts, it's just there's really nothing happening, and it's hard for me to pay attention. I mean, this is just something that happens in independent films with me a lot, and I know it doesn't happen with you as much, but maybe that's because
I'm really excited.
Yeah, maybe that's just because like for so many movies I watch of the mainstream. I mean, we've had a lot of movies this year where the flow has been constant. Like we've had The Avengers and Dark Knight Rises and Cabin in the Woods and Hunger Games. I
agree to disagree with you on Dark Knight Rises. As much as I loved it, I thought it was too slow at some points.
Well, let's save that for when that review comes up.
Yeah, it's true.
But, you look at movies like The Avengers, which are mainstream movies, and that's, you don't take a breath in that movie.
Chris Hemsworth, will you marry me?
And, with a movie like this, it's with a lot of independent films, where those slow moments are meant for you to reflect on what's going on. It's just, it's a little harder for me to do that than you. So I do love the fact that you can love this more than I can. Because it really...
It's a lot for an ADD patient to think of that.
Yeah, it really does. It says a lot to myself, too.
Yeah, seriously.
But I'm going to give my final say. I think the one thing we both forgot to mention, you mentioned it, all the acting in this movie, fantastic. Everyone really brings their A game. Elizabeth Olsen gives another great performance.
We have a list now? We have a list?
Yeah. She once again proves that she is way better than her non-talented sisters. But
I wouldn't necessarily say her sisters are non-talented, but
she blows them out of the water.
Yes, I would definitely agree with you on that one. I just wonder why she was so late on giving the acting. Like, I really wish that I saw her. What?
She trained.
I see that. I definitely see that now. But Elizabeth Olsen, this was the very first movie that I saw you in, and I will admit that your performance was spectacular.
It really was.
I absolutely adored the character, and I adored the way that she was brought to life. In a sense, she did remind me of myself, because I'm very random like that.
Yes, you are.
I am a very random person. And, like, for me to connect with a character in a movie is also a very challenge. Like, it's kind of a challenge for me as well. Yeah. Like, it's very hard for me to connect with some of the lead characters. Like, some of them can be very unlikable for me.
Yeah.
But I loved that I was able to connect with her on a point that, A, she was the same age as me, B, she was kind of in the same field as me, because I hope to write plays and television series someday as well.
Correct.
And, like, it's drama and writing are kind of in the same field if you think about it.
Yes.
and just her personality overall. Like, I just fell in love with it. It was so cute.
So what would you give it?
Can we please go over the rating system again? I forgot it.
Like, perfect, full price, $5 movie, rental. I don't think you're gonna give it bullshit, so.
Oh god, no. Why would I give it a bullshit?
Yeah.
I would probably give it a matinee.
Huh.
Well, wait, is it a matinee? Or, like, what's the step below, like...
Full price?
The full price.
$5 movie, or matinee. It's either or.
Yeah, like, okay, they're both the same thing. But, I would give it that because I know a lot of the people that are moviegoers don't tend to see indie films, and, like, some moviegoers don't exactly have the same appreciation for indie films as I do.
Right.
Along with a lot of other indie fans as myself. And, like, I would give it a full price. It's just on a relatable level.
Well,
a lot of people don't relate exactly.
Don't ever think on a relatable level, because you're a critic. You have to think from your own mind. So if you want to give it a full price, then give it a full price.
Yeah, like, it's like right between the full price and the matinee. Like, I just don't know which way to go.
Well, I would say from what you've said in this, you've been way more positive on this. I thought you were going to go full price.
Maybe I'm just bad with the ratings.
Huh? Hey, you'll get better at it.
Like, honestly, I would give it both if I could.
Yeah, you'll get better at...
I definitely would.
You'll get better at being able to tell.
Wait, one more thing before your ratings.
Yep.
If I can influence you anymore. This movie was written, directed, and he starred in this movie as well. I believe that Josh Radnor definitely deserves a lot of credit for this movie.
He does. And
coming up with such a great idea, first of all, and being able to deliver a character that is extremely likable.
Yes, I agree with that. I mean,
like, I love him to begin with because, like, I'm a huge How I Met Your Mother fan, and I haven't watched his other indie film the entire way through, but I really would love to sit down and watch the rest of it. Happy Thank You More, Please. I thought it was really cute. Like, I loved the intertwining of the stories. Like, I love those movies, how they all relate to each other, and I just wish I, like, found time to sit down and watch the rest of the movie, because I've been meaning to watch the rest of it, but from the parts that I've seen, I was really blown away by it.
Alright. Well, if I had to choose on this, I'd probably give it a low $5 movie, matinee. Just because, like, those slow parts to me just kind of were more, kind of took me out of the movie a little more than they did with you. But you're right, you do have to give credit where credit is due, and there's a lot of this movie that is really good, so I can't take it away from it. It's a pretty enjoyable movie to sit down and appreciate. So, if there's nothing else to say, I'm going to go apply for the school that was in the movie.
Good old Kenyon, huh?
Yeah.
Trusted until now.
I'm 35.
It doesn't bother me.
Well, it bothers me.
My advice to you is put some armor around that gooey little heart of yours.
One of the things I loved about being here was the feeling that anything was possible. You get out of school and anything could happen. And then you do get out and life happens.
So you're saying I should prepare myself for suckiness?
No, a liberal arts education solves all your problems.
In a